#1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. Mike Yuva said to join us here in just a little bit. Bible Belt Beauty says, "Stop looking at me, Swan." Speaking of great movies, Mike Yuva, might as well call this guy Mike TV. Bang, bang. From the old Willy Wonka movie. Philip says, "Swanee, I remember several years ago, Clemson was not a very good team at the start of the season, but from the midseason on, nobody wanted to play them. That was the year we beat Penn State in the bowl game." Several years ago, indeed. Several years ago, indeed. I believe that would have been, 1991? Somewhere in there. God, that's a team I'd love to play again. I think that was 1991. Yes, of course. I want to know basketball, Google. Yeah, ridiculous. This is the show that shakes the Southland. Was it 88? Wow. January 1st, 1988. Philip, several years ago indeed, sir. Kyle says, "Man, I hopped over to the iHeart to see the BMO TV." Thank you, sir. Enjoying this opportunity to have each and every one of you here with us and watching the show live and sharing the show. Make sure you subscribe. Subscriptions are through the roof. I said yesterday, I thought 1,000 by game 6 was out of whack. I don't think so, man. We had like 26 new subscribers yesterday. The way I'm tallying it up, I'm like 26. We can do this. You just go hit that subscribe, ring that bell. Corey wants to know how much eligibility does Lynn J. Dixon have after this year? All right, so Dixon was heading into his senior season. This was his senior year. Technically, he would get this year back because he didn't play in 4 games. Technically, he has a COVID year. And I guess technically a redshirt year that he never used, but I don't know. Because he's not really, if he had played in 4 or more games this year, or 5 games or more, then yeah, I would say he could use that redshirt year and have 2 years left. But I think he's only got 2. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with now. These used to be things that are fairly black and white. They are no longer black and white. Some shade of gray. Possibly like the tie that Mike Yuva may wear today just in honor of our program. Who knows what Mike's going to do? He joins us here on the program each and every Tuesday afternoon. Mike Yuva, what's up, big guy?
How we doing, Swanee?
Pretty good, man. I said earlier, man, did you, most of these guys in TV and radio, they get some fancy name. It's not really their name. Mike Yuva is top notch, but you could have always gone with Mike TV. The old reference to Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
Well, I mean, it's one of those last names that probably, I don't know, more than 50% of the people that look at it, especially the first time, they have no idea if it's the University of Virginia, if it's UVA, if it's short for something else. So I enjoy it. It doesn't sound as good, though, when you botch it. Like if it sounded better, like if my last name was Uva and people said Yuva, I think that would sound better. Uva doesn't sound as good. No disrespect to anyone that might have a name that might sound like that, though.
Do you have a hard time with people who get DJ Uiagalele's name wrong? I heard people calling him like DJ Ugalele. At what point are people going to be able to figure that one out?
Well, I do know there's some Gamecock fans. They probably think they're clever. They call him DJ Ukulele. that some of the Gamecock fans out here have heard. We saw our good friends over at ESPN, Field Yates. He got an angry letter from an Alabama fan about Tua Tagovailoa. So, some of these names, it happens, but with DJ, it's just one of those names. I remember, I think it was the Boston College game, because I was just practicing that name all day, just trying to make sure I get it right. DJ Uiagalelei. I remember the first time I said it, I botched it so badly on air. Not that any viewer probably knew from this area, unless they're a super, super, super diehard Clemson fan and have been following his entire high school career. But it's one of those things. I'm right next to our good buddy Matt Dow on the other side, and Matt is a big, big, big tennis guy. So some of these last names and first names, he is spot on. And being able to cover Clemson the way that he's done the last couple of years, I knew he wasn't going to have any issue with DJ's name.
Speaking of Matt Dowell, how about the new sports director over at Watch Fox 57?
Right.
I gave him a little shout out earlier today, huh?
Yeah, big congratulations to Matt. He's done an outstanding job here at Watch. And, I know Clemson fans have been able to get to know him these last couple of years because he's kind of been the quote-unquote Clemson guy, Clemson beat reporter. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be continuing to go out that way, or if he's going to be doing more Gamecock stuff in the coming weeks and years, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, listen, I was already on here saying, listen, let's bring back the Clemson show. Let's go. I'm fired up. Let's go. All right, so Mike, first off, let's talk about Clemson, then we'll get into the Gamecocks and their matchup with Georgia and their matchup coming up with Kentucky. Seeing Clemson and Georgia a few weeks ago in Charlotte, you came out of that going, man, two Titans, two teams just
yep.
Gorilla Monsoon would have said the irresistible force meets the immovable object, right? That would have been the old phrase. Then you had Clemson and SC State. You can't really measure that no matter what the outcome was. And then you get this matchup this past weekend where Clemson really struggles against Georgia Tech, and Dabo Swinney and Tony Elliott, everybody came out and said, look, they threw a defensive look at us that we haven't seen, and we didn't prepare for it. We weren't ready for it. You're a former player, Mike. Your dad's a coach, for crying out loud. Do you buy into the theory that the scheme can be so different and out of bounds of what you're prepared for that a team as good as Clemson just can't figure it out or recover?
I think until halftime, especially more so with college and high school, because in high school, things change all the time. But in college, you spend so much time, whether it be on the practice field, more so in the film room, and you're prepared for different schemes. With that all being said, the coaching staff that Clemson has, there's no reason why adjustments weren't made. And they did make some type of adjustments. But at the same time, too, with the caliber of talent on top of the caliber of coaches that they have on that staff, the adjustments at halftime should have been much better. There's no two ways about it. I don't care if you're the University of Clemson, for Clemson University, or if you're the University of South Carolina, or, South Carolina State. When you're at the college level, you should be able to make adjustments. But when you are Clemson and you have the type of coaches there, and, this isn't a knock at Dabo, but, you're talking about some of the greatest coaches of all time. His name is in the list, and rightfully so. But, what have you done for me lately? You need to be able to prove it week in and week out. And having an opportunity to make those adjustments at halftime, I felt like they could have done a better job, because on paper, Georgia Tech shouldn't have been in that game with me.
And they had, that was the other thing too. They had like a 2-hour halftime. Like it wasn't even like traditional 20 minutes. I don't know. I figured you're breaking out whiteboards and figuring this thing out, and it just didn't look like it. Now, in fairness, because Clemson couldn't figure it out, and they shot themselves in the foot a little bit as well, it was sort of a double-edged sword, right? Like Georgia Tech would run a little tempo, but they juice as much clock as possible. And then conversely, Clemson's having to keep the ball on the ground. So the clock's it was like a running clock. I looked up and we're in the fourth quarter. Now, again, we had this 2-hour break, but there were 8 possessions for Clemson in that ball game. And that's a big deal too, because you typically get up into 12 and 14 possessions maybe in a game. So that is of significance, but I'm with you, Mike. They had to be able to figure it out. They couldn't. All right. So moving forward, I know you cover the Gamecocks, but you also get a chance to see the Tigers. What does Clemson have to do this weekend against NC State, who at the beginning of the season, people thought that might be a team that can challenge the Tigers? And boy, it seems like they might really be able to challenge the Tigers if Clemson plays the way they've played recently.
Well, I said it in week one, and it's funny to say it because despite being able to get the run game going a little bit, especially in the second half against Georgia Tech, Clemson still wasn't able to generate the type of points that we're accustomed to seeing them do. So I think more than anything, you need to be able to get the run game going. I think this offense, you look back at just the last couple of years, I mean, granted, you had a once in a blue moon quarterback in Trevor Lawrence that came through, but even before that, going back to Deshaun Watson, even Kelly Bryant being here, going back to the days of Taj Boyd, you've had some very, very talented quarterbacks. But on top of that, you've had some really good running backs. And I think I think the difference. I keep saying South Carolina. I'm so much in a Gamecock state of mind right now because we have so much Gamecock content.
It's all right, man. That's why we peek over the fence.
Sorry.
That's why we peek over the fence.
I think the thing with Clemson is, yes, they've had so many talented quarterbacks, and DJ definitely has the skill set to be talented. But I think what they're missing more than anything is just that reliable blanket at running back. I think this team, and this is, some people might not interpret this the right way, but just hear me out. I think Clemson is missing Travis Etienne more than they're missing Trevor Lawrence from last year. And the reason I say that is just because of what Etienne was able to bring to the table. We know how talented Trevor was. There's no question about it. But the thing about Etienne was he brought so much to the game. He wasn't just a running back. He was also a guy that could get things done blocking. He could also be out there to go out there and get some passes. And he was just so smart. And I think they're missing him more than anything right now. And, look, they have a very talented running back in Will Shipley. I mean, there's no question about it that he can be a very, very special back, but he's young. He's young. He's not Travis Etienne right now. And to lose Lynn Dixon now, I mean, you need to be able to have some of these running backs be able to step up. Can Shipley be that guy that can make that that can fill that void of Etienne? I don't know if he can do it right away, but that's not to say that he hasn't been playing well.
Tater Lord, there's a name for you, says that he thinks DJ Uiagalelei is a little bit too nonchalant on the gridiron. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Have you recognized him being a little bit laissez-faire, I guess, as they say?
Well, I mean, shoot. I mean, I look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor kind of was nonchalant a little bit, right? I mean, I don't watch and diagnose every single play and body. I'm not a body language expert, but he had that kind of Cali look. He'd go to the press conferences on Monday, and it seems like the body language and the way he would deliver his answers. I mean, it seemed like it was very, very similar. Deshaun Watson, of course, had a little bit more energy. It seemed like on the field, he was more. I don't know. He was more emotional. It seemed like on the field, if that makes sense, right? Maybe that's what this messenger is alluded to. Maybe he just wants to see a little bit more fire. Yeah, Taylor Lord wants to see a little bit more. Maybe he just wants to see a little bit more energy on the field, and that's okay. But it's being able to find that balance. And I pick on Jake Bentley a lot because Jake was a guy that played with so much emotion, so much. I think South Carolina fans don't appreciate what he did here because when you look at it statistically, he is one of the better quarterbacks they've had. When you talk about maybe top 5, top 10 quarterbacks of all time in Gamecock history. With that being said, he sometimes played with a little too much emotion, especially early on in games. And they go down the red zone, and what happens? You force things in there. So I think it's trying to find that balance of, especially at that quarterback position, you're all, you're amped up. You're trying to play with some energy. You're trying to play with some passion. And maybe DJ needs to be able to show that a little bit more. But at the same time, too, he's a kid from Hawaii, right? He's got, Cali, but he's got that Hawaiian blood in him. He's laid back, I think, naturally. But I think at some point, yes, you need to show that aggression at some point.
Again, Mike Uva's on Twitter at Mike_UVA. He joins us each and every Tuesday. Let's talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks, Mike. 40-13 this past Saturday over in Athens, Georgia. Again, not a lot of people expected South Carolina to win that ball game. Probably not even a lot of people thought they'd keep it close. But what were your takeaways from the first loss of the Shane Beamer era?
No, they covered. Man, that's the first thing I took away. So some people were happy, depending on what side you put the money on. But I think the big thing I took away is just the fact of how this team competed to the end, more so in the fourth quarter. Because, first quarter, you lose your starting quarterback. You lose one of your key linebackers in Sherrod Green, who's now going to be out for the majority of the season, if not the entire season. There's a possibility he can come back late in November. But you have to throw a guy out there in Luke Doty, who going into that game, there was no plan on necessarily playing him unless you needed to. And the Gamecocks needed him to do that. So I think more than anything, South Carolina kept that closer than I think a lot of people expected early on in the game. I think the changing point, of course, was the safety right before the half, and then Georgia was able to come down and get a field goal. That was a quick 5-point swing, and then they carried that momentum into the third quarter. So does that mean that South Carolina would have won this game? No, I'm not saying that by any means, but I think they would have put themselves in a better position. I think once they had that 5-point swing before the half, it was kind of over. I think more than anything, what USC needs to do is they need to be able to bounce back, and they need to find a way to, kind of like we're talking about with Clemson, but more so than Clemson, because I don't know if Doty's going to be able to produce the type of yardage through the air that a guy like, DJ Uiagalelei can do. They need to be able to run the football. We heard all offseason about how talented this running back room is. Now, is that all in the running backs? No, it also starts with the offensive line. It also starts with the blocking on the edge from the receivers with stock blocking. You need to be able to get everyone to be able to do their job. But they have such talented running backs. So I think more than anything this week against Kentucky, I expect USC to get back to their bread and butter, trying to be able to establish the run. And not only that, but be able to play off of that, being able to mix in some play action, be able to get some play action rollout with Luke Doty, because now Doty has that game under his belt, the soreness in his foot. He doesn't feel like it's bothering him right now, which is fantastic. Beamer did mention today that bearing any setbacks this week, that Doty will be the starting quarterback for South Carolina, but they also expect Zeb Nolan to be available if needed. He had stitches in his hand from that injury getting stepped on, but they expect those stitches to come out and be able to play on Saturday. But they need to be able to get Doty in his comfort zone. And Doty's comfort zone is being able to get outside the pocket. Kind of like DJ in a sense. You need to be able to get him outside because he is a talented dual threat quarterback. But I think with DJ in comparison to Doty, that arm strength is a little bit stronger. So for Doty, you need to be able to get the run game going more so, because I don't know if you can be able to move the ball up and down the field the same way like a guy like DJ can.
Kentucky has won 6 out of the past 7. South Carolina won back in 2019 to snap a 5-game winning streak in the series that I know was a sour taste for Gamecock Nation, and would be an additional sour pill if they were to fall again to the Kentucky Wildcats this weekend. But they'll be at home. The mask policy and ordinance and all that's been a big issue. Few minutes left with you, Mike. Give us the update for all our Gamecock fans peeking over the fence. What's that going to entail Saturday?
Yeah, so what that basically means is, wear a mask, but at the same time, too, I don't know how they're going to be able to enforce that in the crowd. I really don't, because it's, the difference going back to basketball season or baseball season at some of these stadiums, the crowds are such smaller, right? There's not a reduction in the crowd. I mean, it's full capacity, or they're at least allowing it to be at full capacity. So I don't know how you're going to necessarily be able to police that. With that being said, this was a question asked because maybe some people are curious when you have ordinance like this that are passed. Players and coaches, to Shane Beamer's knowledge, will not be required to have to wear a mask on the sideline and during the game. Now, we've seen that in the past. They've had masks on the sidelines going back to last season. So maybe some people think that might be a dumb question that was asked, but I honestly think it's a fair question just because we've seen it going back to last year, and this has kind of become the new norm, unfortunately, of where we're at. And hopefully we'll be able to get through this period sooner rather than later, and we'll be able to get back to whatever that new normal will be for us all.
Well, Mike, final thing for you. So I've talked about the comparisons between Dabo Swinney and Shane Beamer, right, about just their career and how they kind of molded themselves. I noticed another similarity this weekend. They're both left-handed. Both coaches are left-handed. So there you go. Add another little notch in the belt for the fair comparisons between these two coaches. So there you go. Yeah, right? Right?
Did not know
both
that.
Lefties.
Hey, I'll leave you with something you didn't know either. I had a nice conversation with Frank Beamer a couple of weeks ago. Shane was a long snapper at Virginia Tech. And in order to be the best that he could to be able to be on the field, you know what Frank used to make him do? He used to have to snap 50 long snaps perfectly before he was able to call it a day. If he had 40 in a row and he had one bad one, he'd make him do it all over again. So he did everything he could to be the best long snapper because that was the way he was able to earn a spot at Virginia Tech. He was also a receiver, but he mainly made it because of his long snapping abilities.
God, that's awful.
Yeah,
Mike.
50 long snaps in a row. Perfect. Beamer ball.
Be good, man. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Appreciate it, Swanee.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A look at traffic shows a wreck on Killian at Faro, also an accident on Wingard at Kennerly. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
There's a hot new podcast we think you'll like. Variety's Strictly Business. Hear candid conversations about business deals, strategy, and the future of media and entertainment from industry A-listers. Hosted by Variety business editor Cynthia Littleton and co-editor-in-chief Andrew Wallenstein. And once a month, executive editor of music Shirley Halperin will join the conversation to discuss the business of music. Listen to Strictly Business on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-781-3626. That's 800-781-3626. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-781-3626 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
Again, thank you to Mike Yuva for joining us. Always good to catch up with him. That's true, though, about Shane Beamer. I noticed Beamer on the sidelines writing with the old left hand, and I don't know why. Like, I've always said, I think basketball players, left-handed like Terrell McIntyre, I've always thought that left-handed basketball players look better shooting the ball than right-handed basketball players. I've always thought left-handed baseball players look better swinging a baseball bat than right-handed players. Something about the way it looks, I don't know if it's the camera angle or what. It just looks better. But there is no denying this next statement. Left-handed people look atrocious writing on anything. I mean, it's all hooked over and uncomfortable looking. Like, they don't even look comfortable writing left-handed. And I know you get the mark underneath your hand. I mean, I know all of that. Listen, I've been in the school system long enough to know. But man, left-handed people don't even look comfortable writing. So my buddies growing up, anybody that was left-handed, looked like the most awful situation to be in. But Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney, both lefties. Add that into the mix. Tiger Chuck chiming into the program. He says, Swanee, this is the text line. By the way, you want to hit it up, 803-450-0086. He says, it absolutely is the camera angle. Lefties look open on television while righties look closed off, not nearly as visually appealing. Well, there you go. It just seems like a sweeter swing from the left side, doesn't it, Chuck? Like Mark McGwire hitting home runs looked like he was using every ounce of power to drive the ball out of the field, and maybe he was. Then there's Ken Griffey Jr. on the left, and it just looked like he was just whack, taking it out of the park like nothing to it. I don't know. Left-handed shooters, though, as well, I have always found just to be a prettier form. 803-450-0086 text line, phone line. Again, like, share, subscribe. Look, go hit that subscribe button. We had like 26 new subscribers yesterday. You guys blew my mind. It only takes you a minute. We're going for 1,000. I thought it was out of reach. You've made me feel like it's in reach. It's only Tuesday. I could dream big. I'm going for it, but I need your help. Again, the big news out of Tiger Town yesterday, Dabo Swinney announcing that not only is Tyler Davis out for 7 to 8 weeks. Big interior defensive lineman out of the state of Florida. But Lynn J. Dixon also entering the transfer portal. Like, I saw somebody tweet that said, boy, that's a no surprise there. Saw that coming from a mile away. Yeah, and you do feel bad, I think, for Lynn J. Dixon because there was so much promise in this season. And Dabo Swinney and this Clemson Tiger coaching staff talked about it pretty frequently. Tony Elliott, kind of said, look, this is between CJ Spiller and Lynn J. And he talked about how when he came in, Andre Ellington had been there for a while, and he said, well, we didn't really butt heads, but it took us a while to adjust to one another. And I think most people thought that would be the case because Lynn J. certainly makes you feel like and this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, if Shipley gets banged up or if Pace gets banged up, then you're talking about you want to go with Pace and Mikey Dukes into a game? I don't. I mean, that's the advantage of having a guy like Lynn J. there. Lynn J. will finish up at Clemson and graduate, but not going to finish up this season with your Clemson Tigers. He'll take his talent elsewhere to wrap up his career. Now, I mentioned Tony Elliott earlier, just a few minutes ago. We'll hear some of Tony Elliott's breakdown of the game. Again, I don't know how many ways you can slice it up, but I mean, it was an unusual ball game. I don't think anybody's denying that fact, but here's what Tony Elliott had to say about after he got a chance to watch the film of this matchup between Clemson and Georgia Tech.
It was a strange game. It's one of the first where, I've been a part of where you got something completely different than what you were expecting. And we went back and, we had peaked at Central Florida and they played a little bit of odd, but nothing like what we saw. And, I think more of it's going to come because I think that as Iowa State has done a really, really good job with that 3-safety package. You've seen us do a little bit defensively last year with Isaiah and in the past with Isaiah and some of those guys. Wasn't expecting it, so we had to make some adjustments. And then it almost felt like it was playing option football. You only got 8 possessions. in the game, and they were going to make us be patient, put together drives, run the football.
And again, that's where I think some of the disappointment comes in for Clemson Tiger fans. You beat this team 73-7 a year ago. Nobody believes that they have narrowed the gap to 14-8, yet they narrowed the gap to 14-8. You've out-recruited them, but you couldn't win where you needed to win frequently enough, and you couldn't avoid making mistakes frequently enough to beat that Georgia Tech team by 21 or 28 points. I mean, we can look at everything that happened and go, well, if, but that is the quintessential thing that we talk about not doing. The ifs. It's one of the things I've always tried to avoid with this program because that's it. The if is an excuse. And Georgia Tech shouldn't have had a snowball's chance in a microwave at winning that ball game, yet there they were, and Clemson's putting the biscuit on the ground in the end zone with under 10 seconds left because we can't line up and take a snap. And when I say we, I mean you and I mean Clemson. Some people would say, well, Swanee, you're the host of the show that shakes the salad. You shouldn't be saying we. I'm talking about the team. We, Clemson, that team, could not. I got nothing to do with it. I just call it like I see it. I'd have Hunter Helms and some other Joe Schmo from Okemo working on taking snaps under center in case I'm backed up like that again. Like I said yesterday, at least then, if you fumble the ball, the coaching staff can look at me and go, man, we work on it all the time. I don't know what happened with the center quarterback exchange. Those guys, that's all they do at practice. I go, well, they're specialists. That's what they do. Unfortunately, Clemson doesn't prepare for that, sadly.
iHeartRadio brings you Global Citizen Live, a moment heard around the world. This Saturday, the biggest artists on the planet unite with world leaders to demand action on our biggest challenges, featuring BTS, Usher, Elton John, Black Eyed Peas, Ed Sheeran, Lizzo, Shawn Mendes, Jennifer Lopez, Coldplay, and other surprise guests. Join us for this once-in-a-generation moment to defend the planet and defeat poverty. Together, we can move the world one action at a time. Hear it all day this Saturday on Global Citizen Radio with the iHeartRadio app.
Fall is a season that's a little in the middle. It's sort of the best of two seasons. It's no longer a sweaty summer, but the winter chill is still around the corner. And that's the perfect time to feed and seed your lawn with Scott's Turf Builder. Even better than spring, because the soil is still warm, but the air is getting cool. So your lawn gets the most nutrients in the best combination of temperatures. Feed and seed now with Scott's Turf Builder and build the best lawn for every season. Scott's, it's good out here.
At Firehouse Subs, we make our subs differently because our subs can make a difference. And now it's never been easier to grab our subs to go for you or your whole crew. With Firehouse Subs Rapid Rescue to Go, you can save time when you order online at firehousesubs.com or on our app. And we'll have your subs boxed, bagged, and ready for pickup at our designated to-go areas. No lines, no waiting. Just more big, bold, craveable subs that help save lives. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
Hi, it's Gary David. Are you ready to take a shot at finding a new career? FN America, a growing world-class design and manufacturer of the world's most innovative and quality firearms, is looking for you. At FN, you'll be part of a passionate team that takes pride in knowing they're doing their part to save lives and protect our freedom. FN offers outstanding benefits, including an on-site health and wellness center, excellent health plans, profit sharing, and 401k plan for all employees. So start carrying your future today and explore career opportunities at fnamerica.com/careers.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
After a typical Packers win over Detroit, Aaron Rodgers up to his usual self after the game, calling out the trolls for the criticism they received this week. Is Aaron in his own head? Is he bored? He's a Hollywood guy living in Green Bay. He's probably trapped, nothing to do. But when you have a drama-filled off-season and get blown out in week one, you're not immune of criticism, especially as a star quarterback. Get over yourself, Aaron. I'm Colin Cowherd.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Today is World Gratitude Day, and to show how thankful we are, iHeartRadio is giving you full control of the music on our stations across the country. Now, when you're listening to any iHeart station on an Alexa device, say, Alexa, make a request.
Okay, what would you like to hear?
Plus, dedicate songs to family, friends, pets, anyone you're thankful for.
Alexa,
Make a request. Celebrate World Gratitude Day with the one thing that brings the whole world together, music. From iHeartRadio, #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app.
Chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
Who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the TrueCar.com studios. This is Columbia's Fox Sports Radio, 1400.
I'll tell you what, the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk, man, it is the Stinky edition, and fans are pretty stinky about everything. Virginia, after Dabo Swinney said, I thought Justin Ross had a heck of a game. Will Shipley was tremendous. Virginia said yes, but where was the real offense? And I mean, this is on a regular basis here. Not everything negative. Alex, however, says it's not about close wins. It's about the offense not moving the ball. At least Watson could put up points. That was in response to the link I put out yesterday with that Clemson team in 2016 that won the national title. I mean, we can say they put up points. They scored 19 against Auburn in a 6-point win, 30 against Troy in a 6-point win, 26 against Georgia Tech in a 19-point win. And then, yeah, I'll give you, they started scoring points after that, but it took them, 4 weeks? I mean, we can look at 59-0 against SC State, but I don't know about that. Mark agrees. He says, yeah, that Troy game that year reminded me a little bit of that Georgia Tech game last week. Nicholas says, one big problem is we're asking our defense to go out and play perfect football week in and week out while the offense finds themselves or gets their heads right or in touch with their feelings, etc. Not a realistic expectation. Rick chimes in. He says, no, we like competent offensive coordinators. We love DJ. Last year's DJ had a great coach, Trevor Lawrence. This year's DJ has you and just you. Notice any difference in the two DJs? That you, of course, being pointed out to Tony Elliott, who said, quote, everybody likes backup quarterback, backup offensive coordinator. Everybody likes the backup quarterback, the backup offensive coordinator. All right, let's see. Text messages coming in as well today. Boy, you guys are amazing. Hit that subscribe while I get to these text messages. Take a minute. Get that subscribe button lined up. Yesterday, we heard from several people. Did not get everybody in. I will try to do that today. John says, Swanee, why didn't anyone ask for Dabo about the decision to go for it on 4th and 2 at the 8:43 mark in the second quarter? In hindsight, we should have kicked the 36-yard field goal. It's a good point. That comes to us from John in Archdale, who, by the way, John in Archdale, making fun of everybody giving the paw there. I don't know if you can see the that is so hideous, right? Thank you, John. Yeah, that was another thing, and I think sometimes, and this goes back to what I said, is Clemson, before this game, I said, is Clemson too much like the Redcoats? You just feel like, well, we just do what we do. And that's what he said when they went shotgun in the goal line. We just do what we do. Well, you know what the Redcoats did? They did what they did. They lined up in the middle of the field. It didn't work out for them. It didn't work out for him. Like, to me, you can't be, we just do what we do. Like, in that situation, I said it yesterday talking to William Qualkenbush at the goal line. Not the situation John's talking about, but at the goal line. The penalty for not drawing somebody off sides or failing to snap the football, as I am aware, is simply half the distance to the goal. Well, if you got to do that the rest of the game, unless there is just some rule that I don't know about that would enforce a safety in that moment, why wouldn't you just continually line up at the line of scrimmage and try to draw Georgia Tech offsides? Can anybody give me a valid reason you wouldn't do it? Unless there's a rule in the rule book that I don't know about. They didn't jump. All right, back us up half the distance. We'll do it again. They didn't jump. Oh, back us up half the distance. We'll do it again. I can't see the negative. I don't believe there's anywhere in the rule book where it says after five delay of game penalties inside the 1 yard line, it is deemed a safety. Now, maybe that's out there. Maybe there is a rule. But if there is, I don't know it. I might throw that one out to the Twitter Sherlock Holmes guys and let them do some research on it. Benton Zero says, Swanee, they say the teams make the biggest improvement between game 1 and game 2. I've seen little improvement, and I don't consider SC State a real game 2. It's just surprising given how well DJ looked last year. Now, that's a good point. DJ looked so good against Notre Dame on the road. And I'm hoping they'll run him, and that'll kind of loosen him up a little bit, take that first hit, and kind of get going. Big Mark says, is it safe to say teams are dropping 8 in the coverage because of our perceived weak O-line? They are able to get the DJ and control our O-line with only 5 rushers? Well, I guess that's too many rushers, right? So 8 and 5 is what, 12? So, or 8 and 5 is 13. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. They feel like Clemson's not able to run the football as efficiently as you have to. Again, 803-450-0086. Preston yesterday says, Swanee, I won't be able to listen live, but I will listen when you post the podcast. I hope it makes me feel better about things. I'm okay with the W, and I'm okay with that we are a work in progress. We have lots of great pieces in place. Good mentality to have on that front. Great mentality there. Linda says, Swanee, am I the only one that remembers issues with Lin J in previous years? I seem to remember there was an issue with learning the playbook, team rule violations prior to CJ. No, Lin J's had his baggage, Linda. You're right. He has had some issues in the past. But I am still just disappointed that it came to a head this season, because this is a year where he should have had this opportunity. And although Will Shipley was sort of securing his grasp on that number 1 spot, Lin J, to me, still had a lot of value for this offense that now will go untapped. And that's disappointing. All right, we'll put a big old bow on the show, man. Incredibly, thank you all for all your messages. We got a couple of more we'll get to here in the bottom half of the program, in the last segment of the show, the Shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk.
It's not only the Gamecocks conference home opener, it's a division rivalry game as Carolina hosts the Wildcats of Kentucky in a matchup of SEC East teams. Hey, it's Christopher Thompson. Get ready for Saturday night with the best Gamecock coverage on 103.5 FM and 560 AM WVOC. Then let everyone know how you feel after the game on our 5th quarter postgame show. The best Gamecock coverage for Carolina and Kentucky on WVOC.
The Outlaws Championship Rodeo is back at the Antioch Community Center in Camden this Friday and Saturday. Outlaws Championship Rodeo with bull riding, cowgirls, barrel racing, steer wrestling, and more. Tickets available at the event. Kids under 5 get in free. More info under contests 97.5 WCOS.com.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Let me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating, 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today, 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
How many of you have pets? My hand's raised. Now think about how lucky you are to have such a sweet little pet in your life, and that pet is lucky to have you too. But unfortunately, there are countless pets out there that don't have a home to call their own. However, Bob's from Skechers is trying to change that. So we developed Bob's for dogs and cats to help pets in need. With every purchase of adorable Bob's footwear or fun, stylish apparel, or even the cutest Bob's pet accessories, Skechers makes a donation to Petco Love to help save shelter pets. And with your help, we've already saved the lives of over 1 million pets and raised over $7 million. So while you're getting style and comfort with features like Skechers' famous memory foam cushioning, you're also helping to save an adorable pet in need and helping another lucky owner be connected with a future best friend and companion. Because happiness is having a loving pet by your side. Find Bob's at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, select Petco locations, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Final segment on a Tuesday. Clemson Sports Talk. Lots of great callers. Thank you. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the numbers up. Let's go. 550. Let's hit the goal today. 550. We're going for 1,000. I haven't checked it. Maybe we're past 550. If we are, let's go. 600. Hit the button. Do it. All right. Couple of more things to get to. First off, your number 2 ranked Clemson Tiger soccer team travels to Greensboro tonight to take on the UNCG Spartans. Kickoff for that matchup set for 7 o'clock on the ACC network. Clemson has outscored their opponents 25-1 during their 7-game opening winning streak this season. One of the best soccer programs in the country Mike Noonan's got up there in Tigertown. Again, they'll play tonight, 7 o'clock on the ACC network. All right, a couple of more text messages that have come in today. And again, we do appreciate everybody for being a part of the program. Double O says, Swanee, I tried to stay quiet, but I warn you, lefties look better than right-handers. Really? That's wacky. But that's what I love about you, Swammy. You never stop amazing me with your brilliant statements. Thank you. Tiger Chuck. Was this a voicemail, Tiger Chuck? Oh, man. Chuck, I'm going to roll that one over to tomorrow. All right? I'm going to roll that one over to tomorrow. Billy chimes in the program. He says, Swanee, I would call and leave a message, but I'm not nearly as eloquent as Double O. He said, this year's Clemson team is hard to watch. We went up Saturday, stayed for a while, but left during the lightning delay. I got home in time to watch the debacle at the end of the game. Now, that is impressive. That's one of the things I said about the delay. I was like, man, there are going to be people that will get home in time to watch it. Billy said, our offense used to be fun to watch, but now we're really just offensive. The D tried to win the game for us twice, and the offense tried to give it away. He said, we must see a lot of improvement before I would consider this team as a quote playoff contender, but they are still my team till the end. This is starting to remind me of the Bowden days. Dog. Woo! It's tough sledding for Dabo Swinney and the team. Preston said, Swanee, thanks for making us see things so clearly. I'm trying, man. Let's see. One more I think we can get to here. Somebody asked me, I guess, about dropping. I thought Clemson should drop. They did. By the way, they dropped 3 spots in one poll from 6 to 9, 1 spot in the other poll, in the coaches poll from 6 to 7. You can't perform like that and hold your line. You're going to drop. I mean, I just don't see another way that wasn't going to take place. Again, thank you to everybody for messaging us. Thank you to everybody for sharing the show, subscribing to the YouTube, subscribing to our website. This has been the thrill of getting back on YouTube. I never thought I'd say these words. Has re-energized this show because of so many of you subscribing and sharing our work. And not that the show needed any more energy, believe me. I'm all hopped up on Red Bull and bubblegum as it is. But I thought YouTube was a waste. And now I see the promise with the conversations that we get in threads on those videos, the shares we're getting in those videos. So again, thank you. Again, Tiger Chuck, tomorrow we'll run your audio. Didn't get a chance to listen to it. Just want to preview it. As they say in the radio business, better safe than sorry. Don't want to go and have a hot mic situation that I don't check the audio, and I always listen to those. If you want to participate and be a part of this show, you can. It's easy. Simply hit us up, 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. Those messages are just text messages that I was reading. See You Tigers Win says, you guys have a good one from Germany. Thank you, See You Tigers Win. We had somebody listening in Australia, somebody listening in Germany. Mark says, Lynn J leaving the team hurts. We need him. Bible Belt Beauty says, I wonder what else we don't prepare for. Yeah, that's tough, man. And that's getting caught with your pants down if you're the coaching staff. I mean, that is what that is. Your inability to answer. One final thing from Bible Belt Beauty says, Swanee, I'm not happy with Braden Galloway giving Davis, Allen, the starting position this week. Galloway had a big drop, a key drop in that game. Has not performed. Matter of fact, the tight end position at Clemson, put this in your pipe and smoke it. The tight end at Clemson hadn't performed since Jordan Leggett. Jordan Leggett. It's the last time Clemson's tight end was worth 10 cents. Somebody had better step up. Somebody's got to help out. That's a position. In that situation with a team dropping, dude, you got to have the tight end be able to catch the football. Braden Galloway is as talented as the day is long. I don't know what's going on there. Hashtag sad face emoji. That's the way I feel about it. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you. You guys were amazing. Subscribe, share, like, tell your friends and neighbors and your friends' neighbors about the show that shakes the Southland. We will be back here for 2 powerful hours full tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Until then, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports.